This video is sponsored by Instant Gaming. Stay tuned to find out how I stopped paying full price for my video games. What if I told you that every Sims game is a time capsule? Okay, maybe not something like the Nickelodeon time capsule, but surely I'm not the only one who's ever sat and thought about this. I mean, maybe this isn't a common thought for everyone, but personally, as someone who grew up with the different titles in the series, I realized that not only do they remind me of the specific time in my life when I was playing them, but they also manage to capture the period in history they belong to. In this video, we're going to explore how The Sims games represent a kind of digital time travel. They reflect the culture, the tech, and the vibes of their respective eras. And also, if this isn't your first Drama House video, you know we'll be dishing out some, let's call it feedback, about the current state of the franchise and its desperate need for a creative revival. So, if you're ready to talk past, present, and future of The Sims, from the original game to The Sims 4, sit back and buckle up, honey. You know, I'm always down for some time travel, and I love doing it with you, my drama friend. But speaking of time travel, if this video has you wanting to revisit some iconic games from the past, or even finally play that Sims title you never got around to, today's sponsor, Instant Gaming, has you covered. Here's the tea. I use it all the time to get legit game keys for way less than full price. The process is so simple. Click on the link in this video's description, discover fabulous deals, complete the purchase, and that's it, you're ready to play. Plus, if you're looking for some special gifts for your gamer friends, Instant Gaming has you covered with all kinds of gift cards at discounted prices. So whether you're diving into retro chaos or staying current with the latest AAA releases, check out the link in the description and treat yourself. You deserve it. Thank you, Instant Gaming, for supporting the channel and this time capsule journey. Now, let's hop back to the year 2000 and talk about The Sims 1. Obviously, our journey begins in the very early 2000s, with The Sims being released on February the 4th, 2000, truly born with the new millennium. And you can absolutely feel that when you play the game. To be fair, playing The Sims 1 today might feel outdated if you don't consider the context of when it came out. These Sims are the prototypes for everything that came after, and to me, they sit perfectly on the edge between real human behavior and video game absurdity. What's also important to remember in any retrospective is that The Sims wasn't originally designed to be a straightforward human simulator. In fact, it was quite the opposite. The idea started with architecture. The environment came first, and The Sims were added later, almost like little AI test subjects meant to live inside your creations. I know, I've been teasing a full deep dive on The Sims 1 pre-release history and all the tea about it, and don't worry, baby, we'll get there, I promise. Stay tuned. But in keeping with the theme of this video, exploring how each Sims game reflects the time it came out, The Sims 1 is very much a product of the late 90s gaming sensibility. Live simulation was still an experimental idea, and that's why the game leaned so hard into surreal humor, exaggerated animations, and a kind of suburban satire. It didn't want to mirror reality exactly, it wanted to poke fun at it. The humor is dark, the randomness is strong, and the logic is questionable at best. And that's what makes it so good. It's quirky, it's unpredictable, and it's a perfect example of how games of the time weren't afraid to be a little weird. Live simulation wasn't trying to be realistic, it was trying to be fun, and maybe even a little bit philosophical if you look close enough. But then things changed culturally and digitally. Entered The Sims 2, and suddenly things got deeper. The Sims 2, released in 2004, feels like a leap not just in graphics or gameplay, but in tone. Where The Sims 1 was surreal and experimental, The Sims 2 tried to simulate something deeper: emotions, legacy, memories. This was a game born in the post-9/11 world, during a time when Western pop culture was obsessed with generational drama, reality TV, and deep family sagas. It's no coincidence that legacy gameplay, the idea of families aging, dying, and passing down genetics, became the emotional core of the game. And suddenly, your Sims weren't just silly avatars who danced in front of a stereo. I mean, sure, they did that as well, but they also had dreams, wants, they had fears, and there were consequences for the realization of both what they wanted and what they feared. Sims 2 Sims cried at funerals and passed on their eye color to their children. And the world? Full of lore. Maxis didn't just give us characters, they gave us mysteries, relationships, betrayals, aliens. It was the golden era of storytelling through simulation. It captured the feeling of wanting to understand not just who your Sims were, but why they were that way. And the game gave you the tools to explore that in a very early 2000 Desperate Housewives meets supernatural weirdness kind of way. It's emotional, it's messy, and it's so good. There's still humor in The Sims 2, of course, but it's wrapped inside this richer simulation of time and consequence. The whole game feels like a digital soap opera, which, let's be honest, is very early 2000s of it. Then, in 2009, The Sims 3 hit. And it was all about freedom. If The Sims 2 was about emotions and family drama, The Sims 3 was about ambition. And doesn't that just scream late 2000s? We were deep into the era of open world games, social media was taking off, and everyone was obsessed with self-improvement and hustle culture. And The Sims 3 gave us exactly that. Open world, create a style, lifetime wishes, traits. It was everything the previous games hinted at, now fully realized. And it reflects the era perfectly. A time when we were actively looking at the concepts of self-growth, customization, and limitless choice. Plus, everything in The Sims 3 is about Sims becoming the best version of themselves. And the Create a Style tool? Babe, it was the digital equivalent of you can be anything you want. But I also think this game captures something deeper about the cultural mood of the time. There's this quiet optimism running through it. Like, yes, life is complicated, but you have freedom. You can live in a beach house or a desert city or a haunted village. You can fall in love, mess it up, start over again, all without a single loading screen. It's a simulation of possibility, or reinvention, which makes so much sense in the context of 2009, a world still shaking off a recession, trying to dream big again. The Sims 3 believed that with enough traits and ambition, you could shape your entire future. And the world, your town, was just there for you to explore. It was the fantasy of reinvention, and it nailed it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Franklin, and I'm excited to introduce you to the next generation of The Sims.
And then, in 2014, The Sims 4 arrived, and something felt different. On paper, it had a lot going for it. Improved Create a Sim, sleek visuals, multitasking, emotions. EA promised players new Sims. Actually, smarter Sims. Remember that?
Smarter Sims.
But when you actually play it, especially coming from The Sims 1, 2, or 3, you feel it. something is missing. Something felt off. The Sims 4 is a product of a very different era, a time when games were increasingly designed to be modular, monetizable, and endlessly update-able. And it shows. The game launched with major features stripped out: toddlers, pools, even basic family trees, only to be added back in later. It started not as a rich simulation, but almost as a platform, waiting for content to make it feel alive. But more than anything, what really sets it apart from its predecessors is its loss of heart. The humor is flatter. The weirdness is toned down. The Sims themselves feel more like mood-based puppets than personalities. Yes, they can laugh, cry, flirt, but it often feels performative, like they're acting human rather than being human. It's like the franchise forgot what made it so special. It's trying so hard to look like life that it stopped simulating it. There's no real consequence, no real weirdness, and no real emotion behind the pixel-perfect smiles. And that's the irony. In trying to be more polished, The Sims 4 became less real. The messiness, the unpredictability, the bizarre charm of human behavior, all of that got sanded down. The Sims aren't strange digital people anymore. They are curated avatars in an Instagram-ready world. Pretty, posed, but shallow. And for a game about human behavior, it feels strangely hollow. And maybe that's why so many of us still look back so fondly on the older games, even if they're clunky or outdated by today's standards. Because The Sims wasn't just about watching computer people go to work or decorate their homes. It was about seeing tiny reflections of ourselves, our chaos, our failures, our weird little habits, and laughing at them. It was about choice and consequence, emotion and absurdity, tragedy and happiness. So, here's the multi-million-dollar question. What would Sims look like today? I mean, if Sims are a reflection of the world they're created in, what would an hypothetical Sims 5 say about us now? We are in a post-pandemic world where the air is thick with burnout, overstimulation, economic anxiety, and an overwhelming amount of digital clutter. Social media is everywhere, but connection, not so much. And when we look at The Sims 4, it leans into all of that. It tries to simulate our modern lives too literally, introducing dating apps, social apps, online business platforms, but at what cost? What made The Sims so special in the first place is that it never tried to be real. It was always a funhouse mirror version of real life. Exaggerated, quirky, weird. Sims didn't look or act like polished influencers. They were chaotic digital people whose humanity came from their glitches, not their gloss. The satire is what made them work. The humanity came from the emotional truth, not the realism. So instead of replicating the surface-level chaos of our modern world, maybe The Sims 5 needs to strip it all back. Not replicate real life, but respond to it, critique it, laugh at it, heal from it. That's why I believe that the ideal Sims 5 would have to be a Frankenstein of the game's best eras. What if The Sims 5 stopped trying to mimic reality and instead became the digital escape it was always meant to be? The future of The Sims should bring back The Sims 1's weirdness, difficulty, and the surreal sense that anything can happen. The Sims 2's soap opera drama, generational storytelling, and emotional depth. And please give us back the memory system. And of course, The Sims 3's open world exploration, freedom, and those rich personality systems that actually affect behavior. Not a sterile life simulation, not a monetized shopping experience, but a living, breathing, messy, ridiculous simulation of humanness. one that makes you feel something. The Sims 5 shouldn't be trying to impress the modern world. It should be commenting on it. We don't need our Sims to scroll dating apps or attend influencer events. We need them to burn dinner, pee themselves in front of their crush, get abducted by aliens, get divorced after a chaotic wedding, and cry on the toilet. If the Sims franchise wants to stay relevant, it has to stop copying the world and go back to interpreting it. We don't need perfection, we need personality. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I love reading your opinions as we build together a community of drama queens who love life simulation video games. Click on the link in the description to discover fabulous deals with Instant Gaming and stop paying full price for your favorite titles. Feel free to like this video if you enjoyed it and join me here at the Drama House by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I appreciate you. My name is Lady Drama, and I hope I'll see you very soon.